I think we said in July. I just could not get my stuff together to do that because of all these events we had. So I think the decision was ultimately to do August 27th, which coincides with the Santa Clara County Aries Races drill, countywide drill they're having that morning. So that was kind of where that decision came from in terms of, where that date landed. I'm going to share my screen. Can you all see my PowerPoint? Yes. Okay. Let's go back to the first one here and let me do slideshow. Problem is when I do slideshow, then I can't see anybody. You guys okay with me just keeping it like this?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know how to set anything different. And hold on, I got to yell at my husband and let him know that I'm talking on Zoom. So hold on 1 second. As usual, he didn't answer, so I apologize ahead of time if he becomes loud. We got our puppy around here too. So, okay, so I kind of should have done this. Sorry, I should have moved this up. Hold on. That's what I wanted. Okay. So here's proposed times. Now I know 9 a.m. may give some of you some chest pain because it's pretty early. But that is the time of the start of that Aries Races drill. We also talked about setting up the arc prior to and having people come to do that. And that would have to be at 8 then. The drill, and this is all flexible, guys. This is just the start of kind of, what should we do type thing. The drill 9 a.m. to 11:30 and then hot wash demobilize arc at 11:30. How does everyone feel about that? I know that's really early. Do we care about starting at the same time as the other guys? Because I'm thinking that should be a group decision, what we feel like. I do have to be at another event at 1, but I don't have to necessarily be there, the whole time. So what do we think? Do we think that we need to bump it up a little later and maybe not worry so much about the Aries Races drill part?
So are we going to interact with Aries Races in any way?
Let's talk about what these suggested objectives would be, and maybe that would help answer the burning question of time. So we know we want to do the setup and the demo of the arc, right? That should take half an hour on both sides, maybe a little bit longer. Hopefully not longer than half an hour. We talked about having some recon teams deploying out to start critical infrastructure checks, right? That pre-assigned, those 5 routes of pre-assigned critical infrastructure. Possibly inserting adjuncts for reporting back to recon lead. So that recon person gets assigned route 1 of critical infrastructure. They find something that's life safety. They report it back to the recon lead. The recon lead creates an incident report, makes a copy, and that goes to planning and operations. The IC planning and operations would then take over to prioritize tasks that are outside of the pre-planned critical infrastructure checks. Those task forms go back to the recon lead. I don't think I put that in there. And then we report back to town through the communications person. So yes, there's going to be a component of reporting back to the town. We'd like to have a component reporting back to the town. That's going to involve probably having somebody from the ECC or somebody that's familiar with the EOC operations to be up there, and then coincidentally then reporting out to inside the countywide drill. Does that kind of give you an idea of sort of what the plan that we were thinking was to then make that?
It does for me, and gives me a good picture. Correct me, but CERT itself, recon or the IC, CERT IC would not be connected to Aries Races. Any communications back to that would happen through the town EOC. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, I don't think it matters that we then, well, in my opinion, it doesn't matter if we start immediately at 9 o'clock if we show up, because we're not direct participants. Maybe whoever's staffing the EOC would need to be there by 9 and up and running. But, CERT could start, we potentially could start at 9 or 8:30. I mean, just saying.
Yeah,
Um,
that's, I don't have, so Neil's my resident expert on these, because I listened to it last time, but I wasn't sure how we would integrate, specifically how we would integrate that part. That was just an assumption on my part that somebody would be up the EOC and then report out alongside that drill, but I don't know how that drill works. Like, is there a certain amount of time? You know what I mean? I don't know if it starts at 9, but does it only go till 10? I don't know. Dave, do you remember how long they were yapping for when we were in there? Well,
Well,
you were there too.
yeah, I've been to, I think, 2 of these now, and by and large, what they do is send test messages back and forth over audio and make sure that the packet system is working. And I've, tuned up the packet system and sent some test messages. There's usually some instructions that go along with the Aries Races drill that are, send us your manpower count, or send us, the fact that you've opened up, but it's not a harder drill in the sense that they're really going to take an incident report. It's really just exercise the communication channels and make sure they work.
Okay, with that
So,
being said,
if we were to send an incident report to town, the way that should work in a real emergency is, someone, the incident commander for the town EOC would decide whether or not that bit of information needed to be forwarded to county, and possibly what to do about it in the meantime.
right. So I think that's clear then that that we won't need to be there at the Kraken. Is that okay with everybody?
It depends if we have to set up and demobilize the arc, because
Which we do. We're going to do that. Yeah.
that's going to take more than 1 hour.
Are
Do
we
you-
going to set up all stations? We're not going to set up medical, are we?
No. Well,
Whatever it is, it's going to take more than 1 hour.
Well,
Why do you
technically,
say
if it-
that, Eduardo? I think it usually takes more on the order of 45 minutes, half an
yeah,
hour.
yeah,
It will take about an hour.
yeah. That's why I gave us an hour prior to the drill starting to, just in case there was like some hiccups or whatever. But we can back this out to maybe 9 a.m. We set up the arc. The drill starts at 10.
Well, I don't think we should back it out too much, because I think you do have a hard stop. So, you could leave before we demobilize the arc and put stuff away if it came to a time crunch on the
Right.
back end.
Okay.
But I do think we want to allow enough time for some meaningful recon activities and meaningful
Yeah.
flow within the CERT command structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
I don't know if that's maybe it just, do we need more than an hour for actual CERT recon traffic? I mean, if we're checking infrastructure, we should be able to run down that list in an hour for sure, assuming that we can get two or more teams in the field.
So what do we want to leave this at then? What do we want to do?
I think it depends on how many people show up. Right? We could do it in an hour if we had plenty of people, because we've done it before in an hour.
Yeah.
And I think we had probably 20 people, 15 to 20, something like that.
Okay.
Well, and we do want to encourage folks to come out. So,
Yeah.
it may be that we should get the the dedicated few to help set up the arc, and then try to encourage everybody to be there by 9 at the latest.
Yeah, because there was a lot of people that asked to have the arc set up. They want to see it because a lot of them haven't even seen like it opened yet at the new location. So I know last time there was a lot of disappointment that we didn't do it. So I know that's one factor we're going to want to definitely do. On your comment, Bill, I actually have, as part of some of our needs, is to maybe, and I know Bridget's offered to do this, and I think that we should take her up on it. Having her contact everybody on our list and saying, we're doing this drill, you know, we'd really like to encourage you to be there. We're going to open up the ARC, you can see it, review, refresh, you know, we want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. We're trying out new procedures. So I think maybe doing that may benefit us a little bit and trying to get some people out there. Bridget, are you still wanting to do that? Do you think that's a good idea, group?
Do what? I'm sorry, I had to let the dog out.
Oh, that's okay. I know you had offered to contact kind of everybody in CERT.
Oh, yes, I can still do that. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm thinking maybe you contact them and then we'll encourage them, give them the action item of coming on August 27th. And, you know, hey, we're going to open the ARC. We're going to, you know, run through some incidents. We're going to demobilize it. Good review for you. Good to see it all set up.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yes, I think
Okay.
I'm willing to do that. I've got like weeks yet, so it should be possible. And I think, didn't we have like 22 people out at the last event, the drill that we were doing the tabletop?
I had 26 signed up, and I think
26.
only 16 or 18 came.
Okay, but that's enough people. to
That's
set
not
up the
bad.
yard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'm no complaints here on that, but yeah, we definitely, yeah, that would be a sweet number if we can hit 20, 25 people. I mean, I think we can really do some good here.
Okay. Yes, I can do that.
Okay, cool. So let me write your name down here real quick.
You're committing me to it. There you go.
I put maybe, but now I'm going to put Bridget can help.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
So as we went up, can you guys see that still?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we went over kind of the objectives. Now, I think for having the personnel, sort of how many people we need to make this operational, right? We're going to want one IC, one operations person, a planning person, recon lead, 4 people for a recon team. So it's two teams of 2, a communications person. I just figure we'll call it logistics, and that could be check-in and staging. And then we need someone from the ECC up in the EOC to receive our messages. And then if we have extra people, we can make them deputies, like deputy of the IC, or we can make them a scribe as well. So I think there's definitely some things we can do in terms of adding extra people, and if we have extra.
Yeah, the other place that we could use an extra person if we got it was the recon lead tends to be the person who's on the radio, and you need a scribe to keep track of what's going on. So, all these positions could take 2 people.
Totally.
Do we use runners still to move paper between, for instance, recon and ops?
Yeah, I usually assign that to the scribe, but if we've got enough extra people, then sure, a runner is a great idea.
You do need to keep in mind that we also need teams in the field, and it's going to be
Yeah.
very, it's challenging, but at the same time,
This can get very management heavy, right? We have 20 people and no one gets to go out on the field and find
Well,
it.
we can always add more recon people, more recon teams
Yeah,
too,
sure.
right?
and the other comment I would make, my experience at least, was that you need a recon leader who is dealing with all the teams coming in or leaving. You need a scribe and a net control. Mostly because when things really get busy, you start falling behind, and you really need to track your people if they're in the field.
Yeah,
I was
I
talking to
agree
Dave about that earlier. Yeah.
I agree with you, Larry, but I think what we're hoping to do here is to keep this won't be a mic drill where we overload everybody. It'll be more of a slow and steady drill where we all get to practice what we're doing a little bit.
Yeah, we don't want to have a lot of frustrated people who are just, kind of getting back into it and then going, this is way too crazy for me. Like, this is why I'm coming out. Goodbye. I'm never coming back again. But I'll put that on there as just a suggestion, right? If we do get to that point. but I added that just so we have it on there as notes and we can always re-look at that as we get closer. Does anyone have any other comments on this setup and anything that you want me to go over?
Excuse me. The ECC needs someone there to receive message. There is no ECC anymore.
Well, there is people who are well,
P,
again,
yeah,
so-
PRC or whatever it is.
Yeah,
well, there's still ham people that are part of communications in the town. We're just in a weird thing right now. Yeah.
I understand that, but there is
Look
no
at this.
ECC. There's no ECC.
So Eduardo, were you at the last EPRC meeting?
No.
Okay, so Neil brought up the fact that they had talked about making a subcommittee of the ECC. So the ECC would still continue as a subcommittee under the EPRC. There's way too many acronyms right now. So that is going to be on the next agenda to go over. Am I correct, Mr. Stewart?
I believe so. I don't have control over the agenda.
But we've talked about that, right? I wasn't just
Yeah.
imagining that. Neil brought that up. Yeah. So
No, and it's an important issue that both legally and all of our documentation, the ECC has all these responsibilities, and since it no longer exists, we need to delegate that somehow, whether that just gets renamed to the EPRC or whether
Yeah.
we talk about trained hams as a separate volunteer subgroup.
yeah. So I changed it, Eduardo. I put trained EOC / ham person to be at the EOC to receive messages.
Well, and
Yeah,
if in
we'll
fact
change
there's a county Aries races drill going on, then there should be
Mhm.
some hams working that side of it. And all we need is for them to look at our messages from time to time and go, yeah, okay.
Maybe we can ask Andy Kirk, because I know he's been kind of wanting to do more. He was thinking about joining the EPRC. Maybe I can see if he can do that.
Okay.
Does he know how to do that, Dave?
No idea.
Okay.
Well, I mean, certainly, I think Andy could, or Duncan McMillan,
Oh, I
or
keep forgetting about Duncan.
Neil
Yeah.
or Dave Stewart could handle that side.
I'm going to be really territorial and say that they're mine for that day, and the town EOC people can. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I was figuring. Let me hit up Duncan or Andy, or just does anyone on this call want to be the IC?
Well, Yeah, before you volunteer me, I may
I'm
be
not
out
going
of
to
town.
volunteer you. No, I'm
Yeah, I
not
may
really
be out
gonna.
of town that day, so.
No, you don't have to run away. I promise I won't make you the IC. Yeah, because we're gonna need someone to take over the IC role. For sure. So
Yeah, I'm not afraid of it. If anyone else wants it, I'd rather someone else tried it and trained on it, but if it falls to me, I'll be okay with that.
Great, that's good.
there you go. Okay.
Good job.
Cool. So
See, it's good that I'm drinking Bass Pro Shops on these.
yeah, I know. I need
meetings.
to
Yeah.
send you a whole case of that so that you can just drink Bass Pro Shop every time we have a meeting, and you'll just do everything.
No.
So here was what I was thinking as needs and next steps. So we still haven't quite finished and finalized our reorg and labeling of the ARC. So Dave and
Steve
and
Cohen.
I are going to meet tomorrow at 10 at the ARC. If anyone wants to come down and join us, feel free. But we're going to kind of just maybe get a final of like organizing and how we're going to relabel, get that done prior to the drill. And then we should probably, did we ever finalize the map that we did, Dave? Was that a final, or were we kind of messing around with it still? I can't remember if we actually published a final or not.
I put together one with the logistics in front of the arc, which is the only real change we wanted to do.
Okay, cool.
You know, I think if you want to finalize it, we can put it up on the screen and people can say, yeah, I'm good with that for now. But, you know, as usual, finalizing it only means this is how we'll do it next time, and then we'll come up with
Yeah.
a better idea.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, cool. And then we'll do it the next meeting maybe. And then, now I know I'm gonna get some pushback, but I think we should create some kind of like very quick reference for each of the areas. Because I think some of the documentation we have is a lot of reading, not in a bad way, but I just want to provide that for people. So at least they have like a job aid sort of, they can look at and go, okay, that's right. It's operations. I'm supposed to prioritize tasks. And those task prioritizations start with life safety, right? So humans, whatever. That's just something, and I would be very happy to do that. I just, I have gone through a couple exercises now, and to me, I need to have something, I need to understand the flow of kind of how things run. And I know we kind of went through that the last drill, but I was thinking that maybe that would be helpful. Like you get the incident report, this is what you do with it, right? Like it written out for you, so that's easily understood. But I don't mind being the one to do that because I'm the one that needs it. I don't know about anybody else, but
Yeah, I think that would be good.
okay. Cool. And then we're gonna need to reach out to the ECC folks, which I have on there. So I will I'll add that up here. Do that. Take that off. Okay. And then I'm hoping that we finish up our Wi-Fi installation and ham radio project by the drill date. That might be being very overzealous, but it would be great to have
God, I
the
hope
Wi-
not.
I know. It would be great to have that in place so we can utilize the Wi-Fi and test it and use it to send communications. I think that would be fabulous. And then we already had Bridget offer to help with actively calling, recruiting people to come to the drill.
Right. Yes.
Awesome. What am I missing? Other than more people.
Well, I think one of the things you're gonna need to do is to come up with the incident report script, right? When people are out doing recon, they're not going to, we hope, stumble across leaky water tanks or lines down because it's a drill, but we need to invent some of those kinds of
Okay.
events.
Yeah, I was thinking that we could, give an envelope to the recon team, and then it would be something that might pertain to the sectors that they're looking at. And they could then call, open it up and call in the incident.
Yeah, that's usually the way you do those kind of scripts. You give them a script that says at 9:15 you discovered lines down here, and at 9:30 you discovered leaky water pipes or God knows what. Kitty cat up a tree.
Yeah, well, I mean, if this is centered around critical infrastructure, then we could create, events that would be, within the realm of CERT experience to observe, like overpass down or support, crumbled or whatever.
Exactly.
And leaky water tank, et cetera.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, a while ago I started a spreadsheet with a bunch of sample incidents so that we could select from. So
Oh, cool.
See if I can find that.
No more monkeys in the barrel.
Well, kitty cat up a tree, I always think is an important one to throw at the system because the system needs to reject the kitty cat up a tree, right?
That's a good point.
Victoria, I pulled up the map if you want to get a yay
Oh,
or
cool.
nay from the.
Yeah, let's do that now. That'd be great. Let me,
Okay. Do a share screen.
yeah, hold on a second. Let me just fix my ish here. Okay, so stop and make you, where are you? Dave Stewart, make a host. All right, you're on.
Okay, sharing the deployment map. So you guys should see a map of the parking lot there.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So the only real change we made was we moved the IC to the other side of the big brown fence and put logistics in front of the arc with the idea that now when you need something, we don't have 50 people going into the arc. We just have one person who theoretically knows where things are. IT is still out here. Whether or not we actually deploy that is kind of up for grabs. Recon a little further out, operations, staging, check-in, and then we've said we won't do medical. So it'll really just be these 4 or 5 tents right through this corner. You know, this is a response from the last map where we thought putting the IC in front was not a good idea and wanted it closer to the scribe board. So I would suggest that we go with this map for the next drill and decide what we want to do if we're not happy with it later.
I like it. I think it
Anybody
works.
Anybody object? Speak now.
Nope. Nope.
So,
Okay. Yay, we
Alright.
finished the task, everybody. That's exciting.
There's our map
This
for
will
the
not,
next.
this will not take 45 minutes to put together.
It should be pretty quick.
Yeah,
Yeah. It should be pretty quick.
yeah, it usually depends a lot more on weather than anything else. Putting up the tables is easy, getting
Yeah.
the tents up if you need them and tying the
Yeah.
tents down in the wind is a whole
Mhm.
separate
Yep.
set of
Yeah,
issues.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to go that far. I think putting up the well, no, we should put up canopies, right? Because it's gonna be hot. Never mind. We are
Yeah.
gonna put canopies. Yeah.
Well, we're early in the morning, done by noon, so could be a toss-up.
Yeah,
Usually in August, it's pretty hot. And I don't know about you guys, but I like to be out of the sun when it's hot. So we'll have to think, yeah. Let's plan for an hour. And if we go under that, we're just rock stars.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So should I stick with that time frame or do we want to?
So stick with the time frame as it is right now.
For the 8 a.m. start time?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. That's it for me. I don't know if anyone has anything else. Am I missing something? This seems way too easy. I know, it makes me nervous.
Well, it's a pretty focused drill, so we're not
Yeah.
gonna provide training on each station, like what staging does, what ops does. We're gonna skip kind of rotating tours of folks to each station and just do a recon. Yeah, okay.
yeah, this is really kind of an activation drill where we,
Yeah.
the thing I would suggest is that it always depends on how many people show up and what their experience level is, but as much as possible, it'd be nice to have an experienced person and an inexperienced person in each one of the roles, with the inexperienced person doing the work and learning it, with an experienced person sort of saying, okay, now you need to do this or that or the other thing.
As a Gemini, I can fill both those roles.
That's good. As a schizophrenic, I can do so too.
Oh,
I think we should activate with the Nixle too.
Oh yeah, send
Yeah.
out a at least an announcement over
Yep.
Nixle. That's a good idea.
You could
I would
say in the
suggest-
Nixle message, donuts for those who respond to this.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me put that on there. Food, logistics for food and water.
Larry, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I reinforce the idea that you get a town activation for the exercise. My personal experience has been that that can be very important because of one of our county responders ended up in court for something that was not that responder's fault, but it didn't change the guy trying to collect from the agency.
Yep.
And I really push that these events, everyone be activated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to for these kind of events. It's not, it's definitely, that's a common thing to do. So yeah, that happens at all our events when it comes to these kind of drills. So I know Ann is changing some of the ways that they do things over there. So I'm going to put in the formal request to get an activation number because, like I said, they're kind of changing some things. So she wants the disaster council to approve all of our drills that they do in Los Altos, which is totally fine with me. That's be the way it goes. So yeah, so I'm going to put this on here too as a to-do. Send.
One more comment. You just brought up something I was curious about. If we run short of people in the field, would it make sense to invite people from Los Altos?
We can definitely do that if you guys would like to do that. Sure. I think the more that we collaborate together and we understand what each other does and how they do it, I think that's not a bad idea. I mean, we can invite them anyway. Radio silent. You're not. No.
I think it's a good idea too. The only complication is that our system is different than ours, so it'll take a little bit of additional training, but that's really what you want out of having them come over and understanding how we do things.
But here's something I'm thinking about though. Is this really how we're going to do things? Because I feel like maybe it's too premature to have them come to this one, just because we're still trying to work through some procedural things, right? Would that cause more confusion to them than help?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty much settled on this notion of, sending out recon teams, collecting the information, doing the centralized ARC. And, I was going to say, I have no idea what's going on in Los Altos, whether they're doing the old survey your neighborhood and, see if you can help, or whether they have a more formal system.
I figured that Ann Heppenstall would have fairly clear knowledge of what's happened in Los Altos. The big point I would also add is that if you send out teams, you send out one of the members of the team as a Los Altos Hills CERT, so that the response in the field becomes basically a Los Altos driver with a Hills team member alongside.
Yeah. Los Altos seems to have a lot of hams too, so they may in fact want to be part of this in terms of doing recon with us.
Mostly I was thinking if you use up all our people managing the ARC, that this way at least you have some people to send out.
I think it's a great idea. I will have to first find out how that works, because they've got the Resilient LA group now. But the last time they invited the teen certs to come out, they were not going through their disaster council and getting an activation number. It was, if you got hurt, you're on your own. That was what I was told. And I can't have them coming out to an event not being covered by their city. So let me work on that first. And the activation number from the town. And then I'll reach out to the PD lady and find out what they need for information and try and get activation number for them too.
Do you still want to invite the Los Altos Hills teen certs to this?
Yeah, I put it on their schedule. But we have our CERT skills check-in day in the afternoon. And I don't know how that's going to work with some of them. I imagine some will come and some won't, but yes, I already invited them and put it on their calendar. I'm
just thinking if there are any specific issues we need to worry about with having the teens around, can we, are we okay putting them in a car with?
No. No.
Okay.
They
So
need
they
to
have
stay
to
around.
just be at the ARC?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Now,
Well,
the next time we do this, or maybe we do one just with the, they can bring their parents, or maybe we have them drive, some of them drive, right? maybe they drive together, but we're gonna have to train them on all that and do that. So yeah, I think this time it should be just ARC operations. And then maybe the next time we do it, we could do where we send them out in teams. I just have to run that by Jay and make sure that it's okay that we're having them drive.
Okay.
I think it should be
Well,
okay, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we even get 4 or 5 at the ARC, then we've got ARC trainees and runners and several other good things.
Yeah,
So that's
I may have to
fine with
drive
me.
them, but I'll see how things are looking. But yeah, it's on their calendar for them to come to.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so I will work on getting to figure out how we're going to get an activation number from Los Altos CERT, and how I think they're trying to work through what their system is too. So I don't know who to go to sometimes. I know if I tell Harry and Art and stuff, they'll be fine with it. But the problem is I have to have it sanctioned by their disaster
city.
council in order for them. Yeah, the city. So I will work on that. I'll send that out and start that process of doing that.
It may not be that complicated. During the trills, at least in the past, the DSW program did not cover you till you were actually at the drill itself. And so it may not require any coverage by Los Altos. And then they arrive at the ARC, they sign in on a DSW registration form for the event. So
Yeah, we can do that too. That's the other option. Yeah. So I'd like it to go through the town of Los Altos first. But really, realistically, that would be the next best thing, is to make them DSW's day of, and then they're covered when they show up. Exactly. Yeah, that's the other option that we can do too. I still have to have permission from the person in charge from PD that's in charge of CERT in order to have them come to the event. So either way, I'm going to have to reach out to the town. But yeah, we've got those two options for sure, Larry. You're correct. Yep. All right. Anything else?
One minor nit appeared or came to me. We want to make sure that we get the 211s adjusted so that we're collecting emergency contact information.
I think I already do that? Let me look. 211 updated. Thank you. To collect emergency contacts. Just thought of something else too. Shoot, what was it? Oh,
I don't remember.
I want everyone to do a 214 for their stations.
What's a 214?
Good question, Bridget.
It's basically a timeline of what you're doing while you're doing the drill. So, 9:10 received incident report, gave to blah, blah, blah. What they do with those 214s is that they collect them, and that's how you prove to FEMA that the people that were there had a job and they were doing something. Because what was happening where people were just showing up to EOCs, and then the towns would say, okay, well, give us, I had 25 people at the EOC working for 12 hours, pay us for 25 people. And then people would say, well, what were they doing the whole time? Well, they were there. Well, we want to know what they were doing. We want to know exactly what they were doing when they were there, or we're not going to pay you. So we want to get in the habit of doing 214s, because that's our proof that everybody was assigned something. What they were doing during that assignment. Now, is it easy to do that? No, because when you're in the midst of it, it's difficult. But, if you have, Dave, they've got this copying, if you're at a station where you're getting copies, it's kind of easy to go back and go, oh, that's right. Whenever you have a down minute, you start to do your 214 and start saying, okay, I'm going through my incident reports. And at this time I got an incident report, I then forwarded it to so-and-so, or I made a message to this, or I did an ad hoc assignment to that person. So it's just pretty much a log of what you're doing.
Okay, and these forms are in the ARC? Do we have to generate them?
No, yeah, it's already a form that exists. It's a FEMA form, actually. So I'll have that for you guys with instructions too, because you can get real technical with those. I mean, literally, I've seen people fill them out where they're like, I went to the restroom for 10 minutes. And I'm like, I don't think we need to get that detailed. I know, I actually had a crew do that. They were on a standby and I was like, I kind of gave them a feedback. I don't need to know all of those things. I honestly don't. It's nice to know that you took a lunch break. That's what I do want to know, that you took a rest, got a lunch break, got a break, right? Because FEMA's going to be like, you had somebody working for 12 hours. Did they eat or drink at all? Like, did you do any kind of logistical stuff with food with them? So, you definitely don't need to get too technical, but at least, it's your proof of what you're doing and what you've done during your shift.
Pasting a link to our Google, why won't it paste? I'm trying to paste a link to, there we go, to the Google Drive 214 in the chat.
Just one comment. If LA does join, I think from a ham radio perspective, I believe they run on simplex and we use a repeater. And so the welcome for this drill ought to include the repeater information beyond the call sign.
Oh, good catch.
So,
So
let me
it's,
speak to that again,
yes.
sorry.
So we have to, the frequency of the offset and the PL tone should be in the, if anyone agrees to come, then, thanks for coming, to help expedite things. We use W6LAH and here's the information for you to configure your radio before you arrive at the drill.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. That's really good.
Yep. 147, I think.
No, I think it's, well, I can't remember.
147.6 or something.
146,745.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right. And it's a 600 kilohertz offset and a 110.9 PL.
Negative offset.
Yeah, negative offset.
All right, now you confused me as
147.435.
usual.
Yeah.
Well,
Somebody
one
write
of
it
us can
down
get,
for Victoria.
one of us can get, actually, yeah. So Larry, it's
146 decimal 745.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm putting it in
usually
the chat.
listed as open parenthesis minus close parenthesis 110 decibel 9. You read it as W6LAH 146 decibels 745 minus 110.9. But I'm going to bet almost every CERT every CERT ham in Los Altos has that somewhere on their radio already.
Oh, yeah.
I think that they do have our repeater information because I know Harry gave me what they give out and they had our stuff on there too.
There's no harm in reminding them that's where we are because things might change in some future event, and it's well worth having that as a policy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Bill saved me from here. Hold on, let me.
Is that right, Larry or Dave?
No
What I
clue.
put-
Programmed in years ago. Haven't looked at it since.
Yeah, I've been guiding people for the last exercises, so it's,
Yeah, we got
it-
caught out by this in the last exercise.
so.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I
right.
in
looked
the,
it up the first time.
Is it in the 4th of July information? I thought you
It
sent
is
it out
now.
there.
it is now in the, there's a boilerplate July 4th ops plan
Okay, yeah.
and it's in there.
W6LAH repeater 146.745 megahertz with a PL tone of 110.9 hertz, offset of minus 600 kilohertz.
Looks good to me.
It's on the CERT sheet.
Oh yeah, the CERT. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I need to make more ARC white cards too. Okay.
Okay.
I will work on the activation stuff this week. I will work on both those things with Los Altos CERT, reach out to the COLA team. And then I will send the activation request to the town, to Anne. And then Bridget, did you want to make phone calls in the next couple weeks?
I just need to know what I'm supposed to tell them. Like last time we changed things. So I didn't, I called them about an activation and we had a tabletop. So
Yeah,
didn't
I think
have
we're,
it set in stone before I call.
this is pretty much going to be it. So what I'll do is I'll send, tomorrow, I'll send out this PowerPoint and the recording
Mhm.
to everybody. And then you can click through this, Bridget, and you can also reference my email
Okay.
when I send it out. So yeah, I just have to mess with the recording tomorrow and edit it and stuff, and then I'll send it all out.
Okay. Sounds
Does
good.
that work?
Start next week.
Okay, and then when do we want to have our next meeting? Do we need to have a next meeting?
Well, certainly as we get closer, I mean, we'll need to
Tighten some
dot
stuff
i's
up,
and cross
right?
t's.
So should,
27th of July.
No, August.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 weeks before, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what he was saying. Okay, sorry. I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
well, so,
can we do, yeah, can we
August
actually do the last week
1st
of
or
July?
2nd.
Well, I'm out of the state,
Oh,
so
that's right. You're not
yeah.
here.
I start my 50th birthday celebrations, and I'm pretty much out for a while. Can we do the last week of July?
27th or 28th.
Yeah, either of those work for me.
Yep, works for me.
And
Anybody else?
I had made a request of Victoria for the group to consider potentially meeting earlier.
I was just gonna say that, Bill. That was gonna come out of my mouth. I really opened my mouth to say that. Does this group okay meeting like at what, 6?
Yes,
Bill,
Yeah,
I might be eating, but yes.
is 6
Or-
okay? Or
26th.
Or-
26th.
What about during the day?
whoa, there's a newly retired guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
I mean, I'm fine. I'm always fine with that because that's, I work during the day. So it would be up to you guys. I'm totally open well, before I start talking out of my butt, let me just check if I am totally open on those days. Not looking at the right calendar. Let me see here.
So I'm good with daytimes.
I'm also good for daytime.
Do you know if Neil is
Yeah, that's what I was
Good
wondering.
day.
Neil is working hard these days. I understand he's got a real job.
that's what I sort of picked up. So I didn't know if he was consulting and had some hours flexibility or if he was really
He said
jammed.
Fridays usually work pretty well for him. If we want to consider doing Friday instead, I think we might be able to rope him in on a Friday.
And this would be during the day?
Yeah.
Potentially, once a month I have a Friday where I couldn't do it, but I'm not the most important person here, so.
Well, could you do it on the 29th of July?
Yes, I could do that.
Do you guys want to shoot for that?
I guess I would offer one question that would tend to force the committee to become retired people. And I'm retired 24 years. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it would keep other people that we would like to draw into the program, particularly younger.
I'm willing to move later should people with jobs join.
Yeah, that's really where I'm reaching for. I leave only the idea that we keep in mind that, like I say, we would create a retired committee.
No, and I don't want to do that, Larry. My only comment to Victoria was it seemed like most folks in this group had a lot of flexibility around their time. And that maybe
That's a good
earlier
point.
would work for the current composition of the group. But certainly if we, attract a lot of other folks or or if, we could put out the next meeting in the day and say if, people want to, if people really need this in the evening, we're willing to move it back.
Well, that and the other thought I had was that they could, if they're working, just push on their key on their computer to Zoom for the half hour or whatever length the meeting would be during the day. Get their boss to say, yeah, that's fine, go ahead and do it. Or if they're already working from home, just check in from their desk wherever they happen to be. So it may not be as big a deal as I thought it was going to be.
I
Let's
also
agree on the day first.
I'm also recording the meetings too, Larry, so I can record them. I always send them out so people can watch them on their own time too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
There's
So-
that option.
Of the
Yeah.
really active people in the supervisors group, it really seems like Barry Bruins, Amita, who else is in here? There's some staff people who probably, Elise, I think, works odd hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe Shell and Neil. But I think everybody else is free in the daytime. I mean,
Right.
I agree. We don't want to force it to be a daytime thing, but one meeting certainly won't change the
Let's
characterization
agree on
of
the
this meeting.
date. The day
So I
first.
think we do it a Friday because that usually works for a lot of people because I know Fridays work better for Neil too, he said. So should we attempt to do like a 10 a.m.?
29?
Yeah, on the 29th.
Okay.
You lose me. That's the morning of my surgery. And so I will not be available that Friday. That's all right. You got a quorum.
Are you sure? Well, you can always watch. They'll give you something to do, Larry. You can watch the recording when you're up and at 'em again.
Yeah, sure. No problem. I just
Okay.
mentioning that I won't, my other half will be with me because I can't drive home. So
And I'll put out meeting notes. I'll put out meeting notes and everything. So that way we have,
I can certainly watch the recording. Just make sure it works.
right? Okay, so should we say 10 a.m. on the 29th?
Okay.
Works for me.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if that's important, but I am.
It is important. You're all important to me. Everybody is important. You guys all have good things to add to our group.
10 a.m.
July 29th at 10 a.m. over Zoom. All right. I'm just going to make sure I save this. Oh, no, it's already saving. Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. Well, look for the email from me